All right, this is Scotty by Nature TV, and we are here to talk. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Scotty by Nature TV and Reggie Ortiz because I've been doing videos all day, and we're here to talk about the influence. Let's get into it. Okay, this is Scotty by Nature TV once again, and Reggie Ortiz, and we're here to talk about the influence, but we won't be doing the influence by ourselves this time. Okay, so. And he's back there. He's waiting, and I'm gonna say exactly what he just said. He want me to make sure I say something. This person is an award-winning blog. He wants everybody to know that he's an award-winning blog, which he is. I accepted the award for him, so I know this for a fact. He's one of the most sweetest people that I know, and some of the greatest, one of the greatest people that I know. And I have grown to love him just as much as I love this person that's sitting next to me, child. So, if I love him that much, then he got to be a real one, child. If I love him as much as I love this one next to me. But half the time I don't love the person next to me. Half the time he get on my nerves. But that's another story.
Lies.
But anyway, let's bring in the voice of TTB, but y'all call him TTB, child, but I call him Trap. I had to
What's
give him
what's
a
going on, everybody? How y'all doing?
we had to, he had to, whenever you talk about him, you got to remind people that he won an award, child. You know,
You know when girls win awards, they gotta say award winning. You know when people win Grammys, they be like the Grammy winning artist. They're like the girls, yeah, award winning, darling. Yes.
Let's let them
so
accolades out.
yes, he got it. Ever since he won that award, child, he wants you to put award winning behind that name, child. You
Period.
know. But anyhow, and this picture here was made by him, by the way. We're here to talk about Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey. That's what we're here to do. Those are two of the most, if not the most, influential figures of the 80s and the 90s. Okay. I have nothing but, good things to say about both. There are some cons that I got about both of them and a lot of pros about both of them, but it's not that many cons that I have about both of them. So when we talk about Whitney and Mariah, before, because we're going to talk about them both at the same time and then we're going to go into them separately and stuff like that. But these two I already kind of had this back and forth about Mariah already before we even started. So y'all probably did. But when you think about Whitney and Mariah, what do y'all think when people say those two names?
I think about the standard, me personally.
I
When
think
I
the
think about
greatest
vocals,
vocalist of all times.
period.
Mm.
And that's what I'm thinking. You know, when I think of the best of vocals, I think about Mariah and Whitney in
Mm-hmm.
their prime. I think about how many singers and vocalists list them, not just list them, they at the top of the list. They in the top three every time of vocalists, from a vocalist or from a singer, whatever you want to call it. So I think that they are the epitome of vocals and R&B as far as solo artists is concerned for the women. And just period.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree. They are they like to call Brandy the vocal Bible, and I guess I live for Brandy, but I call these two. These two to me are the vocal Bibles, if you ask me personally.
Um, I used to be so against the vocal Bible title before because I didn't understand it. I was thinking that they was saying that she was the vocal Bible because her vocal capabilities was so good, but honestly, they call it the vocal Bible because the other singers study her vocals and try to mirror it. Not that they don't study Whitney or Mariah, but the thing is, that's not something that's really achievable vocally. You get what I'm saying? So it wouldn't be everybody can't study Whitney Houston's vocals and mirror them. You get what I'm saying? So it's easier to do that with Brandy, not because she can't sing, but because her vocal capabilities are more ground level, so to speak. And that's no shade, but we know that Brandy is no Whitney or Mariah. So, you know, that just is what it is. But for me, I mean, of course, Whitney is the standard of everything. She had the strength, she had the control, she played with the scale, she could falsetto, she could do opera, she could do country, she could just do it on the spot right there, whatever. And I feel like Mariah was the same as Whitney, but the opposite, if you get what I'm saying. Like, Whitney was the pepper and Mariah was the salt. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was the more angelic, whimsical version of Whitney Houston. But I feel like they both brought something to the table that made people want to look up to as vocalists so that they could grow. Because let's just face it, if you are studying somebody that's levels above you or has more capabilities over you, if that's who you're learning from and that's who you're teaching yourself from, you have no room but to be as good as you can be. If you're any good at all.
I agree.
So, yeah, I love them. They set the tone. Let's, first of all, hits. Mariah Carey got all of them Hot 100 number ones. Now, that's one thing that I would love to see. I would love to see her do a concert performing all of her Hot 100 number ones.
She already did that.
When did she do that?
In Vegas. It was called the Number One's Residency. You're
I
welcome.
heard that she was planning on doing something like that back when she put out Touch My Body. Is that around the time she did that?
No.
What
It had to be,
time?
right?
I want to say she did it around, I'm going to say 2017.
Oh, it was
Okay,
that
so she did it a lot later than from what I heard about it, because when I heard about it, they was actively talking about them doing it, and I never heard anything else about it. I mean, I knew about Vegas, but I didn't know that it was just about the number ones. I'm gonna be honest, in recent years, I haven't really run to a Mariah performance, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh,
Oh,
boy. Here we go. Here we go. Honey,
That's
you got to
neither here nor
go.
there. And let me say this. I don't want what I'm saying to be misconstrued as shade. It's not shade, it's just realisticness. She
Are
is
we doing
not
it?
the same
Are we
Mariah
doing
that
this? Are we doing this now? This is what we're doing?
we could do it now.
Okay,
But
let's
oh,
go.
no, let me say this.
oh my God.
She's not the same Mariah that I'm used to and that I grew up with and that I had a love for. And that does not take away from who she is, what she's done, the ground that she's built for, the Arianas. First of all, nobody has ever perfected the whistle to the caliber that she has, because nobody is really mouthing words with it the way that she does, full sentences and everything. I mean, nothing is to be taken away. I feel like all good things, if you have an appreciation for it, it's nothing wrong, with that, because that's just who you like. That's who you vibe with. That's who you fuck with. I just know that for me personally, I am more on the old Mariah fan base than currently.
I can respect that, but realistically, because I'm a real ass bitch, is Mariah's voice as consistent as it was in the 90s? Absolutely not.
And
But
that's why I said, and that's
can
all,
she still go? Absolutely.
when you
As
say
somebody
still
who,
go,
I mean, go. As somebody who has purchased a ticket to multiple of her concerts, not one, not two, but three, and she's going the fuck off. I mean, going the
well,
fuck off.
of
That
course you're going to
caution.
be pleased. You're still buying tickets in 2020s.
No, but but if it was off, I would sit here and tell you that it was off. Like I love Mariah, but she don't
But
pay my
no,
bills. You
I'm
know what I'm
not
saying?
saying
So
that
if
she
she
dead shot, but it would be crazy to say that she sounds anything like what she used to.
she sounded amazing, and
I
I feel
you're deflecting. You danced right on around what I just
I'm not
said.
deflecting. I would say buy it. I would
Did I
say buy a
say
ticket.
hold on, let me say this. Did I say that she didn't sound amazing, or did I say that she didn't sound anything close to what she used to?
She sounds real close when you go see her live.
Real close, and close is not the same.
I mean, she's not going to be identical to her 20 her she's not going to be
Okay, and that's
identical
all
to
I'm
her
saying.
23-year-old voice, but who is really?
Exactly, and that's why I'm saying the realisticness of she's not going to be
But
the same.
I don't
Mariah.
like how people try to paint this narrative about her like if she can't sing anymore. People do that all the time. Like she is not singing how 23-year-old Mariah
No, of
sung.
course,
But
that's
she
the
is
whole
going.
point. But
But I feel
what
like she can
people.
still sing 95% of the industry under the table, in my humble opinion. And that's just from actually being in the concert live.
Well, that's
Like
your
the ground
opinion.
is shaking,
I won't
bitch.
do much to dispute that. I don't agree.
But you haven't seen her live. I would just say get a ticket. Because a lot of people
I
who say
wouldn't.
that, a lot of people who say that they
If
haven't
you
got, they
can't make
haven't
it
seen her
past
live.
the recordings, I couldn't dare buy a ticket. And that's no shade to Mariah. Like, again, love her contributions. I love Get the Fuck Out. I fuck with Mariah, but I just don't see it for her like that anymore. I don't think that she's the worst to touch a microphone in current day time. No, but no, of course she's not going to be the 23-year-old Mariah, just like Candy is not the 14-year-old Candy. And that's true. But when it come down to it, I don't think it's painting a narrative, more so of just noticing that there is a difference. Even between Fly Like a Bird, Mariah Carey. I do think that she can still sing, but for what people are expecting from Mariah Carey, for her to be the caliber of vocalist that she is where that narrative comes from.
But
And
she's
so
still
then,
singing Fly Like a Bird live now, and it's
but
amazing.
yeah, I'm sure it is. That's
But
one
let
of the
me
most
let me
recent
say
songs that
It's
something.
she was.
outstanding.
Let me play devil's advocate here. I think at this point, though, even though she don't sing the way she does, we can't expect everybody to sound the same at 50 years old. Like
Correct.
it's going to be a decline at some
Correct.
point in
So
time.
what I'm saying,
Nobody's going to sound the same.
Like I posted a video. I think Scotty's seen it in my IG stories of her singing "Anytime You Need a Friend" in current time. Absolutely
but let me
outstanding.
say
I was
this.
pleasantly surprised.
What's wrong with accepting, just like Scotty said, you're not going to sound the same way at 50 that you did at 23. So why not just accept that? That's all I'm saying. Like, everything that you're stating is absolutely true, but it's a fact that she's just not the same. That's
But
neither here.
sometimes, but I feel like some people have accepted it. It's just the fact that people have to constantly be reminded that they don't sound the same when we shouldn't expect them to
Well,
sound
we already know that, right?
I accept it, but I don't feel like Mariah gets the same respect as Whitney does. In other words, Whitney was horrible her last years. I mean, horrible. She was sing talking. If I should stay. I mean, horrible. But people were
Well,
not. But people were not saying.
well,
People were not saying. Giving her all this flack. She was still very much Whitney the fucking Houston. They
I'm
still
not sure
they
where
still
she was,
revered
because
her.
Whitney Houston that I heard about before she passed was getting booed off stage, and people was leaving her shows.
Oh, because
That's one. That was one Australia concert. But we ain't
all I
talking about
can
them girls.
remember.
I'm really talking about the black community.
One
No shade.
Australian concert at a stadium.
Right.
Let me say that. So
Right.
there was tons of people that was walking out. So it was a large amount. I mean, the black community, you know how they gonna be. But my thing is, I feel like that's where the push and pull come in. If I say that Mariah Carey cannot sing the same anymore, and there's somebody, a Mariah Carey fan, is coming to argue or dispute that, first of all, my mind is never going to change. I've seen enough to know that it's not the same. However, that's where the push come in at, because it's just like, okay, we know she's not going to sound the same at 50. Why are you arguing me? Because I'm recognizing it. And so I get what Scotty is saying. It don't have to be brought up every time, but it's no discredit just because it's being recognized. You know, the girls that used to get it back in the day used to get it back in the day. Times change. I don't think that she's horrible. I just don't.
I don't think she's horrible at all. Like, honestly, I'm not gonna let a couple bad performances throughout her 30-year career
There were more than a couple.
diminish her vocal capabilities. And I've seen her
No,
live
and it
3
shouldn't.
times.
And that's
And
my
I
whole
don't think
thing.
people who can sit there and watch clips on YouTube but have never been to her concert can really
That's
give
my
an
whole
opinion.
thing, though.
No shade.
Well, clips. I am an avid performance watcher, concert watcher.
Well, buy a ticket.
I've never been in person live, but I've seen full-length Mariah Carey concerts before. Regardless, from what I've seen, the old Mariah would not have sounded like that, or even the emancipation of Mimi Mariah. It just is what it is. That's not taken away. It just is what it is. I get that it can be disturbing to some fans, because I'm even the same way when it come down to, I was the same way about Aaliyah, especially when people used to talk about her live vocals, and I used to put in, well, she's dancing, she's doing this, you know what I'm saying? Understood, but just because I'm saying all of that is not taking away the fact that, okay.
What I'm just saying, for every bad Mariah performance we have now, I can combat that with a spectacular Mariah performance we have now. So I'm not going to sit here and just act like she's horrible. She is amazing. She's just not, for me personally as a fan, she's just not consistent. She's too much in her head about her notes. I don't like that. Whereas Whitney, even on Whitney's bad day, because Whitney's a Leo, Mariah's an Aries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Leos are very cocky, but in a good way. Like they're gonna show it off. Even Whitney Houston's last performance with Kelly Price in the club, and she was singing "Jesus Loves Me." That was horrible. But if you give Whitney Houston a microphone, she gonna show out no matter how it sounds. Mariah is not the same way. She's an Aries. She lives in her head. She's thinking about every single note that she's going to sing. And that is, for me, is what's letting her down, because as somebody, I've seen her, like, for instance, I've seen her on the Today Show, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the cameras start rolling, it was a mess. But it was. But the rehearsal performance before the cameras started to roll, it was absolutely outstanding. And I want Mariah to get out of her way.
Well, I can get that too, because I'm one of those type of singers as well. I think in my head, I calculate things much more than I should, because Scotty could tell you, I mean, vocally, I feel like I've grown now, but I feel like the only reason I've grown vocally is because my voice has matured compared to how I actually would sing back in the day. It wasn't my vocals, it was my vocal ability that was stronger when I was younger. And that was because I didn't know shit about music. And so since I didn't know shit about music, all I did was just get my ass up out there and sing. The knowledge of things can mess you up, and that's all that I'm saying. People are going to notice a change when there's a change, and there's nothing wrong with the change. Motherfuckers would wish that they could be in the industry as long as Mariah Carey has been in the industry and still be able to book a stage for events as big as New Year's Eve, or still be able to book an arena in today's time without any real new current album that's out. It's artists that's dying to do that. So again, Mariah Carey's legacy speaks for itself. And she's a legend. She is R&B royalty, pop royalty. She's one of the queens, most definitely. And it's a lot of girls, especially the girls that sing in a low register, that I could see them taking things from Mariah.
Trying to.
But you know,
wait, let me just say this really quickly. If Mariah's voice was a 10 in the 90s, let's say it was a 10, right? 10, perfect. I would say right now, for me, seeing her live, she would be a 7.5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's about what I give her.
That's about right.
And it's amazing. Like, and again, I hate to put these two women, because this is about, uplifting them, and I love them both. But the truth is, I wouldn't have purchased a Whitney Houston ticket, and towards the end of her towards the end of her career.
The truth is, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, the influence is about what they've done as far as impact and legacy, but the truth of the matter is, in current day, in Whitney's last days, unfortunately, and in current day for Mariah, I'm not buying a ticket for neither one. I'm sorry.
But I said that to say this. I would still, and I'm happy I did go see Mariah, because I was pleasantly surprised.
Now, I would love to meet Mariah. I want to get chopped off by Mariah just to say that it happened. You know. You know, I want, when I blow up and motherfuckers be like, y'all remember back in the day before Reggie Artiste blew up and she had him escorted up out of the premises? You know, I ain't gonna give a fuck. Yes, Mariah Carey. I made Mariah Carey feel enough to have me escorted out. Yes, that was me. I was escorted the fuck out. It was me. But, you know, I would love to meet her. I mean, and I understand what you're saying.
I would say go, because I brought a friend with me, right? And my friend felt the same way you did. But I dragged my friend along. And he gagged.
Well, then also,
he gagged.
See, listen, I'm not trying to go there with you because I don't want to be shady. I love Mariah, and it's the stand in you is making me want to shade her.
I just want you to go see her live. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to get you to shade her. I just want you to take your time out, buy the cheapest ticket. You don't have to spend money. You don't have to spend coin. Buy the cheapest ticket just to say.
See, this is the thing about me. You're going to be so disappointed to wait for the report just for me to come back and be like, she was good, but I still feel the same way. Like,
no, I just think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
I don't think that she's just shot horrible. I just want her stands to openly admit and accept the fact that she doesn't sound the same, and that's okay because she still sounds
Yeah, her voice has matured. But I would still, like, in other words, she could still sing, so I would still go see her. I would still go see Patti LaBelle live. Patti, her voice has matured, but I would still go see her live.
But Patti ain't fall off either. Patti still can blow them same songs, damn near identical.
I wouldn't say all that, but she can still.
Well, she could still sing a great bit of her songs live better than Mariah. Now that's something that I can't dispute. You put Patti out there like Patti was like her vocal be rocky or something.
I get what you're saying, but let's be honest, nobody's songs are more difficult to sing than Mariah's. And that's Mariah's own fault. She made her songs crazy difficult to the point where even in her prime, it was still like, girl, you know what I mean? So that's kind of her fault. But
No, I
Name a
mean
harder song.
she just was letting the art move her and expressed herself the way she saw fit. I don't think it's anything wrong with Mariah Carey. It's not Mariah, it's the fans. And that's also a part of just to go to show how big of her influence and her impact is.
Mhm.
And I'm not even going to lie. She has saved lives. I always tell people all the time how SWV and Aaliyah music, I had that music in Mary in a very dark place in my life. But there was songs by Mariah like Can't Take That Away. You know what I'm saying? That I leaned the fuck on in the fifth grade. I
Mariah,
was
through my breakup with, I don't want to say his name, but I think you know who it is. The
wait
Oh
name,
a minute.
God.
You
he
bump
starts,
Can't Take That Away.
he starts with a D. His name starts with a D, so you know
Oh
exactly
God.
what it is. But
So
her song "Circles" got me through that
Does it stand for
whole
dick?
November day.
we could go with that.
Yes, that's exactly what he was.
um,
I just want to say, you said you're a singer, right? You sing?
yeah.
Okay. So let's say you recorded a song in your early 20s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, but you made it really, really difficult. Like it's like really, really difficult to sing. As you mature, you're gonna have to adapt to your current voice, and you might have to like lower it an octave, lower it a semitone, and
Absolutely.
things of that nature. And I feel like Mariah was in denial for such a long time. I want to say from 20. Listen, let me finish. I want to say from
And
20.
that's all I was
I want
saying.
to, but wait, I got you. I got there. I want to say from 2014, personally, from 2014 to 2017, I felt like she was in denial about the inconsistency of her vocals. But when 2018 came around, I don't know if she had a new team or whatever, but I've noticed they have lowered her songs. Like her live songs are
I
low.
mean, I
The
will
key has
say
been lowered.
that I have noticed that some of her performances have gotten better that I saw. Now y'all like to tussle, so I ain't gonna say that she lit, but they was better.
You see, I don't look at Mariah. See, I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk about that lip syncing stuff. Let's do that. I think it's smart that for Mariah, I call it vocal breaks because what Mariah will do is for let's say a section of she knows she has to do Vision of Love next, right?
Hmm.
So for let's just say Fly Like a Bird. Let's just use that as an example. She'll sing 90% of it live, 90%, but there's a quick vocal break that she takes where she might mime a little part. But I like that because that means she recognizes that her voice, she has 18 songs, a 2 hour show, and she knows she has to preserve her voice for certain songs that she has to do like all the way through. So
Right.
I respect that. I don't look at her as like a lip sync artist like a J Lo where they lip the whole show. Like I
I
don't.
mean, well, let me say this because people don't understand the difference between lip syncing and lip singing. When you're lip syncing, your microphone is still on, honey. You still singing. So Mariah's still singing now. But when you're lip singing, nothing is coming out. If
Right.
somebody do your mic like this, it's not going to be no feedback. That means you just moving your lips.
Even Mary did that when she when she did the lifetime achievement thing for BET. Some songs you could hear her sing on, and then there were some songs that she was lipping like hell.
I mean, it's called a magic mic. And when I find me a good one,
Okay.
I call them vocal breaks. It's good to do that. And Whitney
Yeah,
did it
yeah,
too during
okay.
no,
her
it's
last tour.
good. It's good. I just feel like for some performances, we ain't talking about concerts where she on tour and you done paid, fans done paid tickets and all of this money. And no, that's understandable. I'm talking about when it's this one televised performance and you ain't doing shit but one damn song.
Got you. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You need to give it your all because
I could agree with that.
that's just that one song. In those situations, I don't want to see anybody lip. I don't give a fuck if you give me the most ashy, crusty vocal. I want that raggedy ass vocal over that lip. I'm sorry.
Boy, shut up.
I can agree with that.
Oh my God. Anyway, so at this point, we're going to talk about them separately now. And we're going to start it off with Whitney. Okay, that's what we're going to start it off with. Now, I'm going to start off by saying, because I said this to Trap before when we was on his platform. When it comes to Whitney, we all know that she's an icon, she's a legend, she's have songs that are widely known. But when you get into her catalog, it's mediocre.
Agreed.
Her albums are mediocre. I have never listened to a Whitney Houston album and wanted to listen to it again, except for the very last one, and that was "I Look to You," and I barely want to go back and listen to it. So it's like her singles, her hits, classics, albums, not so much. I feel like Whitney was more of a singles artist than an albums artist. Her singles were better than her albums. I said it.
Child, you got me puffing this vape extra damn hard
I'm
because
being real.
the only thing that I can do is agree. And I know that the older generation, like our mother's age, would beg to differ. And that is the thing that I'm saying about me just being realistically speaking. They're not going to be realistic about it because they so caught up in the fact that they grew up in that era. And, this song came out again. Key phrase, this song came out when you was doing this, that, and the third. That song came out when you was doing this, that, and the third. I've never heard anybody really say anything about her being about a full body of work by Whitney Houston.
Mm-mm.
But at the same point in time, well, I can't agree that I with what you said, but I do feel like she had one era when her and Bobby Brown was going through it. Around the time that her and Mariah did When You Believe.
You're talking about that "My Love Is Your Love" era.
Your love.
Yes.
I can agree. That was a great era.
That was, in my opinion, it didn't have her best hits or her biggest classics, but it did have classics. And as far as a project that was whole, that was her best project to me, to where it was more than just singles that people was listening to off that album. And that just goes to show you that Whitney vocally is the GOAT. We were so locked in and put in a chokehold by them vocals. We didn't give a damn whether the album was good or not. Just sing some shit for us,
They definitely were.
please.
They definitely were good.
And I mean, listen, we can't hate the player. Because whether the albums was good or not, motherfuckers was going to buy it because it was Whitney Houston.
I'll take it a step further. I think Whitney's later albums were better than her first albums. I think after "My Love Is Your Love," even her last album, "I Look to You," I could listen to
I
that
love
all the
that.
way,
Oh, yeah,
all
yeah,
the way
yeah.
through.
But see, I was telling Scotty that when we was on the phone one time, like, people always want to look at them earlier albums. Now, don't get me wrong. For those, because I don't like to contradict myself. Bitches like to get clips that you done did from one video and put it side by side with the next. So I got to clear shit up in advance.
Yes, you do.
I know that I said that back in the day, the second album was when artists used to come with the heavy heat. But when I say back in the day, I was talking about the 90s and the early thousands. By the time the 90s hit, Whitney had already passed her second album. So this is different. Whitney, especially in the 80s, it really wasn't the same. You know what I'm saying? Like how it is now or how it was in the 90s. Because we had such little media back then for us, people was just gonna buy the album anyway.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? Once you gained your fan base, people was gonna buy the album. You didn't have all of this crazy promotion that you had in the 90s or even now today. You know what I'm saying? But
Sales didn't even matter back then.
sales,
Like the first week really didn't fucking matter because a
I
lot of
mean,
the times these people would debut low and eventually
Climb
rise
up.
where they
Yeah.
needed to go. Like,
I'm
They
about
had
to
they had
tell my
time. They had
age.
time. They had time. Because even Mariah, her Vision of Love, that I think it debuted at like number 79.
And nobody gave a fuck because
Nope.
people appreciated music for music back then, like we said in one of our other videos. And let me also say this. Damn, it was something about, oh yeah, I'm about to tell my age with this. Y'all remember how we used to have silver certification? See, the
yeah.
kids today don't know shit about that. That means that all you had to do was sell 250,000. For those of you who don't know, that's 250,000 records, and you could go silver. First of all, I feel like they might as well bring it back because the way,
The way album sales is,
I mean,
people can barely sell gold now, so they may
that's
as
what I'm
well give them a
saying.
silver certification.
Yeah. So note to RIAA, go ahead and start giving them damn folks them silver plaques again and
But you
stop
know,
playing with these people.
me and Trap had this conversation before too about how we feel as though the streaming
Child,
era,
everybody would be silver. No shit.
right? Everybody, we felt like the streaming era has pretty much
Oh well,
killed
yeah.
music in a sense because it's like back in the day, the Billboard rules used to be 52% radio, 48% sales. But then it changed once iTunes came, and I think those rules changed in 2005, and it was now 48% radio, 52% sales. Now streaming gets the biggest percentage now, and it's unfortunate to me because you can stream a song the first week and it'll debut very high, and then the next week it just tumbles all the way down the charts, and then it comes back up once you get radio play or like you need radio to
Well,
sustain.
let me say this: if it was if silver still existed, I would feel like in order to achieve a silver plaque, you would have to gain that in pure sales. So everybody would not be silver.
Mm, mm.
So while the kids would be trying to laugh that it's nothing but a silver plaque, it would really be a flex because it would be nothing but pure sales. See, that's what the girls is failing to realize. You can't compare your accolades to your faves of today to the accolades to our faves of yesterday because
Yes.
our faves was selling pure records. When they say that, you know, Mariah Carey and Khalees and Beyonce
Not Khalees.
and Khalees has done it,
Mhm.
sold 1 million copies. That means that whether it was for the full album or a single, 1 million motherfuckers got out of their bed, left their house, went to the store and bought that shit.
That's true.
Girl, let's talk about Mariah selling 30 million albums, like off of one album, Music Box. So
I mean,
when the girls of today really be trying, my girl, I'm just like, 30 million people left their motherfucking house to buy that one album. So
we
And
would never see that again.
that just goes to show you what Whitney did with I Will Always Love You. She had motherfuckers buying going to leave their house to buy a soundtrack.
We barely even have soundtracks now. barely
That's
even
true.
had.
And
Whitney
that
was.
used to be the best music.
I'm gonna say
Yeah,
Whitney was the soundtrack girl.
yeah.
She was. We
She
had
was.
that discussion before, but then again, I think that I disputed that because me and Scotty, when we did the influence episode 2 about Beyonce, Aaliyah, and Brandy, you know, it was already established between us so many years ago that Aaliyah was the soundtrack girl. And the reason why I say that she was the soundtrack girl, yeah, Whitney sold records with, you know, her soundtracks, but her biggest soundtrack was, of course, The Bodyguard.
Of
Right.
course.
All of Aaliyah's soundtracks, first of all, she was dominating them. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Waiting to Exhale
I'm gonna say.
soundtrack,
I mean, they both could be soundtrack girls.
yeah,
All I'm saying is, I feel like Whitney's more known for her soundtrack hits compared to her album hits.
yeah.
To me,
I can say that. I can get with that a little bit. Yeah, I can. And it's like, that I think that's why I don't really look like there was a time where I used to be chart watching and sale watching. I could give a fuck about that now. I'm guessing because I'm older. That's number one. And number two, the way the sales run, I don't fuck with it like that. I just don't. Like at this point, it's crazy how a song can be streamed and it goes straight to number one and then it dropped to 78 the next week. Like, girl, I like it's, but
and the
it
people
is
go
Well,
up for these artists of today. It's crazy. I'm like,
they
child,
do.
ain't nobody hitting for me right now.
No one. It's some that I like, but then it's some that's just not.
as far as current music within 2021 and 2022, it's no full body of work
Mm-mm.
that's hitting for me.
Mm-mm.
Um, no,
It's
I don't
none.
care who it is. The last real good album that I probably listened to was in 2018.
That's a long time ago.
I agree that Mariah Carey Caution album in 2018 was really good. So,
Okay,
Alert people, we
Whitney.
have a stand in the mix.
Back to
that's a
Whitney.
good album, baby. I suggest you listen to it for all the way
What's
through,
your,
baby.
what would you say is your favorite Whitney Houston song, or your top five Whitney Houston songs, if that makes it easier?
Oh, I like my. Uh,
I
I
say
like.
top five. Give me the top five.
I love my love is your love. And I really love Shoop.
Of course, that
I
got to be on
just
the fucking list.
love Shoop so much. Yeah, I'm gonna say those two for me as of right now.
I'ma say, I'ma say, you give good love. I'ma say shoot. I'ma say the greatest love of all. Um, what would be the other one? That's three right there. I'ma say I'm probably one of the few that will say this, but miracle, and my other one would probably be one moment in time. What about you, Reggie?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I was gonna say I think we have to give him one moment in time to get it together over there.
um, shoot, of course. Um, is it called Count on Me with CC Winans?
Yeah.
That
Yes, that's my shit. Oh, they ate that. They ate that. Yes, keep going, bitch. Yes, ate
When
that.
You Believe with
Oh,
Mariah. Um, and I'm sorry, my all-time favorite and most underrated Whitney song is Didn't We Almost Have It All? That's my shit.
love that song. Oh,
Everybody always overlooks that song, but let's be clear. There was not a Whitney Houston concert that it would have ever been allowed in hell that she couldn't have performed it.
Listen, I just noticed something. None of
It
us
was
said I
good.
will always love you.
Well, I wasn't finished. I had four,
Oh, my bad.
and I Will Always Love You was five, but my all-time favorite is Didn't We Almost Have It
I
All?
forgot. You love to bust out into that shit all the
Listen,
That was cute for a little ying 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 around the house. It was cute.
look,
time. Oh
that
my
was
god.
definitely for play, but
Yeah,
I had to give the little Whitney Houston jaw.
that's a,
And that's my shit. That was my song. And she sung her ass off, okay? As the kids know that I like to say, for church funds and choir
quite.
robes, she sung her ass off on that song.
Okay. So, what is your least favorite Whitney song?
Yeah. Oh, girl. Hmm.
Saving
My,
All My Love.
you don't like that song?
It's not that I don't like it, it's just my least favorite.
What's my least favorite? My
And
least
then
favorite is
now
probably
that I know the backstory, I'm just not here for it.
my least favorite would probably be So Emotional. I ain't never really gave a fuck about that song.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Okay,
Yes.
so now we can go ahead and move into Mariah. Now we can start talking about her. Wasn't her first single "Vision of Love"? I think that was her very first
It
song. Yeah.
was her
Okay,
first number one hit. Yes.
she came out with "Vision of Love,"
One out
and
of 19, darling. One out of 19, period.
I can say that the difference between Mariah and Whitney, as we said, Whitney had better singles versus albums, but Mariah had better albums than Whitney did. Like I never really could say that Mariah had any
That's a
bad.
fact.
Now,
Um,
Mariah definitely. Well, I don't even want to even get into that. I just want to state that Mariah had good albums.
yeah,
Mariah had good albums, and I feel like everything was consistent but different.
yeah,
Um, she gave us a look in the era and a sound with each album, but all of it was still true to her sound.
and she knew how to get with the times too. She never had
Yes.
an issue with staying relevant with the sound that was there. She
And
always
people,
moved with it.
they don't give her the credit either for really starting that trend of mixing hip hop with R&B. Mariah Carey was one of the first to do that, and then the other girls started getting the rappers and shit on their tracks.
Right. Mariah was the first pop girl to do that at the time.
Right. I
Mhm.
mean,
Because Mary's
I
not pop. You know what I'm saying? Like Mary and
Yeah,
Method Man, they came out with that song, You're All I Need, a little bit before, you know.
fantasy.
yeah, but she was
Yeah.
a feature on his track. I'm talking about for the girls that was singers. Period. They wasn't getting rappers and bringing them onto their music. Period. Like
Oh, I
Mariah
agree.
did.
I agree. But a lot of people like to bring Mary into it. I'm like, Mary wasn't a pop girl. She was very much R&B, urban hood. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mariah was a pop megastar. So she was the first pop megastar to have a hood rapper. I mean, ODB was hood. Like that was Wu Tang is as hood as you could get in the
Yeah,
'90s. You know what I'm saying?
go back like babies and pacified.
Right. And first of all, don't get me started. Scotty know I love me some fucking Mariah Carey. That's why I'm like, I'm trying not to go there with you because I don't want to drag her because I love her. But I do because like, first of all, she got so many fucking songs. Scotty know I use to love me some fucking lover boy. Especially
I did too.
But you
huh?
like Loverboy?
I love
Yeah, I love him.
Loverboy.
I love him. I love him. I
Have
love
you
him.
heard?
I love him. I love
Have you
him.
heard the
I
new
love him.
version?
I love
Remember the remember that was
him.
a different version. Remember because she had to change the sample because J Lo stole the sample, so they had to
Yeah,
change the
but
sample. Have you heard the actual sample that she released it?
oh, she did.
Uh
See, I
huh.
don't. I don't really know a lot of the current stuff, but that was my shit.
I
I didn't
love.
give a fuck what happened and who had what. That was my shit.
That's when people started this shit. You know what? That was the time where people had started this shit on her. That's when they really started shitting on her
First of
around
Because
that
of
all,
that
I
time.
movie.
don't
It
know
was the
why people
movie.
wanted to come for her in that era because that was that album. First of all, if y'all got anything to say about Rainbow or Glitter, we got problems.
That Glitter soundtrack was amazing.
Never too
I
She was
loved it.
vocally, she was like that was like her third vocal prime to me. That Glitter
First of all,
Glitter
that
era.
whole era just within that 3 year Rainbow Glitter Mariah. First of all, she was singing for fucking church funds and choir roles on every fucking thing. And first of all, hold on. Scotty know what else was my shit too. Heartbreaker. And
way.
not
Oh,
the
that was
Mhm.
my
remix.
shit.
I love the original with Jay-Z.
Right.
And how hard she came in on that second verse. I love Heartbreaker. That's my shit. Heartbreaker, Loverboy. And don't get me started on Honey. Like,
Mhm.
and see, that's what I mean by that was Mariah's theme. She really helped, I feel like, create the sound of hip hop. She I feel like she crossed that bridge for hip hop to cross over.
She gave Jay-Z his first #1 hit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I feel like with that being her thing, that broadened the spectrum for hip hop to be able to be in the places that it's in now. I don't want to say that she is solely responsible, but I will say that she was the start of that. And she helped open that because that was something that she did constantly. I mean, from the music videos, and I keep trying to tell people, like, I know that Mariah has this diva persona, but her upbringing is far from what she presents in today's time. And her close friends was people like Old Dirty Bastard and The Brat and Jadakiss. Like, don't
Talking about
get it
hood
twisted.
people.
I'm about to say Mariah. Mariah hood as fuck.
Right.
Mariah ghetto.
And Whitney Houston. You know, I had to throw that in there because Whitney was hood as a motherfucker.
Right, and that's why they got along when they first met each other. Like people thought they were gonna hate each other. Whitney is Newark straight up.
She really is.
And listen, even Mariah know that because I remember when she was giving her speech at the BET Awards and she was like, you know, I saw Whitney backstage and I was nervous because everybody know Whitney was not to be toyed with.
Right.
And yes, I just loved that energy. I feel like she did not refrain from her roots.
She did.
I feel like she allowed who she was and allowed her roots or that side of her roots to be seen and allow. I feel like she found a way to cross both of her worlds. The music was more than just music. That was something therapeutic. You know what I'm saying? How I received it.
Hmm.
And she was able to combine both of her worlds and through music. And she did that. And like I said, from the music videos down to the visuals,
And let's talk about
all
the
of the
writing.
songs, majority of her hit singles, she had a rap feature.
Right. Or an R&B loop or something hip hop. Like, her song The Roof, that's a whole hip hop loop in it. But a lot of people don't give her credit for her songwriting.
Now
She
that
writes
is true.
she writes these songs
She definitely do.
and she
And
produces these songs.
yes, because she sung the fuck out of them backup vocals on All Cried Out by Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
And
she
and
did.
and close what was it every time that Babyface song.
And nobody even knew that it was Mariah. They thought it sounded like Mariah, but they didn't know that it was Mariah because most people probably wouldn't even think that she was humble enough to sing backup vocals for Allure, but Allure was her group. So, you know, naturally, of course. But just the fact that she was able to have that arrangement and have the air for that. And Mariah, she can harmonize with anybody.
And she also did background vocals for a rock group that she revealed that in recent years in her memoirs book that she did.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the name of the group, but it was a very popular group in the 90s that she did vocals for that nobody knew about.
I can see it.
And that's why I like Mariah a lot. That's why she's my fave because there's not one genre I don't feel like she hasn't covered. She's covered rock, she's covered jazz, she's covered R&B, she's covered pop, hip hop. She's sang country. Like she's sang, she's done a little bit of disco. Like she's covered literally every genre of music and has slayed in all of it. So it just speaks to her musicality and her ear. She has a really good
Okay.
ear.
She does. Now I can say that she does have a good ear for music. That's why she was able to. That's why I feel like her and Mary, both know how to keep themselves, reinvent themselves, and keep up with the times. Um, when it comes down to Mariah, what are you guys' top five favorite songs from her?
Oh, bitch.
I know that's hard for you, Trav, but just for the audience sake, think of your. Let's just say your top five favorite singles from Mariah, just for audience sake.
Oh, bitch.
Well, I got deep cuts too. But I
See,
mean, I guess we could keep it at singles. We can keep it at singles.
So we're talking about like the 19 hits or like every single she's ever like released.
Every
Any
single ever
single, every
release.
single ever released. It doesn't have to be the 19 hits.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to hear you say 19 hits. Um
I'm so glad this is about to be over, Trav.
Uh,
My number one Mariah song, and it's crazy. You guys might find this crazy, but whatever. It's honestly always be my baby. It's just a song. I know, right? It's
That's my
just yes. It's just a song that
Wait, you
just
said that's not you don't like that?
no. That's my favorite Mariah song.
favorite Mariah
That's
song.
my favorite Mariah too. That's
Yeah,
when
it's
I
just
first fell in love
timeless.
with her.
It's just timeless. No matter, I feel like it could be released today and it would still be a popping
Mhm.
song. Like
And would.
it's
It's
just
just a
timeless.
And don't get me started on the harmony at the very end.
Come on now.
Uh,
What's the
Come
next?
on now.
What's the next? What's the next four?
Oh, I love Melt Away. Mm.
Hmm.
Okay, so Thank God I Found You. I would say the remix though. The remix with Joe. I love Honey, the Bad Boy remix.
Hmm.
And I love Crybaby. I love Crybaby a lot. I don't know if it's in my top five, but that's what's coming to my mind right now.
Okay.
Crybaby slaps. Period.
Is that
Mhm.
all of them?
Is that five? What I say? Is that...
You said "Cry Baby," "Always Be My Baby," "Thank God I Found You" remix, "Honey" remix.
And
I
we
think.
could say fuck, what's that song? We could just say Forever for right now. I like Forever too. But she's never she performed live a couple of times, but she's like let it go.
Okay, for me, number one is most definitely "Always Be My Baby." Number two would probably be "Vision of Love."
Oh
Number
girl.
three, number three, I'm sorry, and I know it's more recent, but number three would
Period.
probably be "We Belong Together."
Oh yeah, I like that too.
Number four would be "Loverboy," and number five would be "Fantasy," the remix.
Y'all are really going up for Loverboy. I'm gagging. Where were y'all in 2001?
right there with my copy.
Period.
Okay, Reggie, you go ahead with your top five.
Okay. Of course, always be my baby. Loverboy,
Mm-hmm.
Heartbreaker,
Mm-hmm.
Hate You.
Oh,
Oh yes.
Well, uh, it's a struggle because first of all, Can't Take That Away is definitely going in my top five. And so for the fifth spot is between Hate You and Get the Fuck Out. But I think I'm gonna just bump Get the Fuck Out of the way and go with Hate You because let me tell you, I I needed that song right when the fuck that bitch came,
oh,
okay?
I know you did. I probably I love I'll be loving you long time too.
Me too.
I
That's
love
an honorable mention. She
But
gave me old Mariah with them vocals.
I love her covers, no shade. I like I Still Believe,
Oh,
Endless Love, I'll Be There. Like
I was just about to say I'll Be There. She
oh.
know she tore that shit up.
Now, what is your least favorite Mariah song?
it's called Heat. I hate it. I can't stand it. It's called Heat. Fuck that song. Destroy it. Burn it right now.
I ain't even gonna lie, Vision of Love is my least favorite.
That's my second least favorite. No shade. Can't stand it.
Oh my God.
I don't
Treated
know.
me
It was boring
kind.
to me.
Girl, bye.
It's boring to you? Oh. My least favorite. What song by Mariah that she released that I just really could not get with? What was it? Um, I didn't really care for that song she did off Glitter with Mystical Don't Stop. I didn't really care for that song like that.
Oh,
Oh,
that's my shit though. That's my shit.
I didn't care for Don't Stop. I didn't care for that like that.
That's my shit.
And
Mystical is a
I used to love Obsessed, but then I stopped loving it after a while. I don't know why.
oh, I forgot about Touch My Body. I
That was our shit in college.
don't give a fuck how cheap the beat was. That was my shit. Point
I
blank,
love that
period.
fucking song. Oh God, take me back.
Take
Take me back
us
to
back.
college.
We
Take us
used to
back to
sing the
college.
fuck out of that in our dorm room.
That was cute, but I feel like the girls don't talk about Angels Cry enough for me. No shade. Angels Cry went in for me with Neo. Well, I like the solo version, but you know.
I know you were gonna say you like the solo verse without me, y'all.
Mhm.
Okay. So with that being said, I think that this was a pretty good conversation. I'm glad that Trap was comfortable because the bitch was
It was cute, but I feel like we still there's a lot more. Like we didn't really like. There's a like we didn't really like bitch. We need like a part two, no shade, because that girl, there's a lot we could. This is like 30 years of a career with the girls. Like we didn't bring up the fact that Whitney Houston was booed when she first debuted by the black audience at Soul Train Awards.
Oh yeah, she
Like I
was.
wanted to get y'all opinion on that. Like why do you think the black community didn't accept her?
Well, we can bring that up a little bit right now before we go. I mean, we can talk about this just a little bit before we get up out of here. They they booed her because she was more of a pop star than an R&B star. They felt like she sold out, and I think that's
Yeah,
the reason why she tried to go completely R&B with the "I'm Your Baby Tonight" album because that was very R&B versus what she was doing before.
right.
She tried to appeal to
Which
them.
worked because I'm Your Baby swept up all of them awards that year.
So I mean,
The
that's
girls knew
pretty much it.
if I'm Your Baby by Whitney Houston, the single or the album was in your category, just hang it up, honey. You're not winning.
She was gonna win it anyway because of who she was, but you know.
And
Right.
also, this show is called The Influence. So let's name some artists that Whitney and Mariah both have influenced. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Now,
I totally forgot to mention that because there are artists that they've influenced, so we can also put that in there before we go too. So
yeah,
we can
now
start.
for me, I feel like okay, Mariah for me, I can hear her influence all over Christina Aguilera. I can hear
Oh, of course.
her
Mhm,
influence all over JoJo, Tori
mhm,
Kelly, Ariana
mhm.
Grande, Kelly Clarkson. Okay.
I
Whitney
heard Leona
Houston.
Lewis,
Who you say?
Leona Lewis.
Yup, and even Beyonce.
Yes.
Even
Yes.
Beyonce, no shame. Now, as for Whitney, I'm also going to say Christina Aguilera as well. Jennifer Hudson.
Mm-hmm.
Who else for Whitney? Who?
Brandy,
Brandy.
Monica.
Mm.
Monica.
I mean,
Shit.
Brandy tries. No shame.
Well, we not saying who is capable, but who was influenced. And Brandy
Yeah,
is definitely she gonna let that be known all day long.
billion times that she was influenced by Whitney.
Well, I just don't. I just don't hear it. Like
Yeah,
when
you don't.
Brandy's
Yeah, like you don't
no.
hear the influence. You just know that she was influenced, but you
Yeah,
don't
I
hear
don't
the
hear.
influence.
But I definitely hear it in Monica for sure.
I'm not gonna lie, I definitely did hear the influence in Brandy from Whitney when Brandy was younger. Like sitting up in my room, the way she tried to play with those notes and things. She
Mhm.
tried to do it like Whitney. Of course, she just got her own voice, so it's not as heard. But with certain things that she does with certain notes, I can hear it. Most definitely Monica. Most definitely Jennifer Hudson.
Period.
Um, but yeah, I mean, first of all, you can hear influence of Whitney Houston and all of the girls because I remember we was listening to the SWV. What was that? All night long,
Mhm.
and Coco, was giving us a Whitney Houston tease. Not no no, that wasn't not all night long. What was that song off the first album? Well, I bring you someone.
It's about time.
Yeah, that she gave me Whitney with that song, and um, a lot of the girls they be trying to do it, and they gonna let you know that Whitney was the start of okay. I want to pick up a microphone and sing. You know what I'm saying? That's undisputable. The girls are definitely influenced by Mariah, but it's no singer in the game that's not influenced or inspired by Whitney, even Mariah herself.
Right, I'm about to say I heard Whitney all over Mariah's first album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love how not Whitney, how Mariah looked to Whitney for that vocal, you know what I'm saying, counsel. Because I every time I watch the performance of When You Believe off of Oprah, you know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
I always love to watch that performance because I can see how when Mariah is looking at Whitney, she's looking at Whitney as part of the performance, but she's also singing like giving that eye of, are you approving of this? Like,
Well,
am I
one thing
good?
about Whitney is that she was so secure with herself. She wanted you to outsing her.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you was on stage with her, she didn't want you to water yourself down. She wanted you to go the fuck in.
Because
While
she was giving you the opportunity to showcase yourself.
hmm
I'm
And
glad y'all said that because that's the one thing about Whitney that I love the most is her confidence. Like I wish Mariah had even 10% of Whitney's confidence because
hmm
I've said this before. Whitney to me is the greatest live female singer I've ever heard.
hmm
Live.
even with the imperfections.
It's
And
just
I'm talking about
confidence.
in her prime because people like to make it like Whitney was getting on stage sounding exactly like the CD, and she wasn't, but it wasn't a problem because most of the times it was better or it was just raw. I prefer raw performances. It don't have to be 100% polished, just sound good.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
that's how Whitney was. And a lot of the girls can't crack on stage and keep it going and people not even notice and people not even give a damn.
Ooh, these days. Ooh.
These days, well, even back then, A lot of people didn't know how to recover from a crack. They cracked, they got shook up, and the rest of the performance was shot to shit. And then some people had cracks that once they cracked, it shook them up so bad that it was noticeable. If Whitney cracked or there was a note that was faulty, didn't nobody give a damn because she was singing her ass off throughout the whole performance. It's not like she sung her ass off for the whole beginning of the performance and then at the very end on that pivotal note, she cracked and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even if she did, she was gonna find a way to do a recovery note. And
Period.
most singers are not confident.
First of all, Whitney didn't care about cracking on stage because she was busy backstage smoking crack. So she was okay.
Oh
She
my.
was she was
Oh,
okay. She was okay with what
that's what I
High Whitney Houston was my favorite. High Whitney Houston was my favorite. A lot of people I love High Whitney Houston.
First of all, I love to see all of the performers and entertainers when they under the influence. I know
Uh-huh.
that's toxic as fuck of me, but that's when they really get their ass up there and clown.
Period. I love High Whitney. No shade. She started sweating and shit, man. She got the towel and shit. The wig is sideways, girl. She don't give a damn, but she going off. She
oh
going
my.
off. Oh, I miss
Well,
Whitney.
I do. But
Me
I
too.
guess we can go now because Chasing Atlanta come on in a minute, so that's why I'm trying to go ahead and end the child. But
Booked and busy.
I know.
that's
I gotta fucking recap this show. Ugh.
but first of all, thank you to I gotta say it the way he wants. Thank you to award winning blogger.
Period.
Uh,
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming up here with us. Okay. This was a good conversation. Although I feel like you and Reggie dominated the conversation, I just sat back and let you two talk and spar, which is fine.
that
Um,
was the
great
stand
conversation.
coming out of him.
I
But
had I had I had fun. My only qualms about it is number one, I've been over here eating pizza, so I haven't been as focused as I could have been during our little spar. That's number one. And number two, I feel like we gotta. I don't know. I wish we would have done this like earlier and maybe longer, because Whitney and Mariah they deserve so much more, and there's
they
a
do.
lot more we could have like really, really, really gotten into the minutiae of it all. But I enjoyed it nonetheless.
That's
Most definitely enjoy having you on, and I definitely do agree. But that's how the influence work. I don't feel like anybody that we really talked about.
we really got all the way in like we
No,
supposed to.
because when you are an influencer and you have birthed nations, it's hard to just, put that in a nutshell. It really is. And the girls that we talk about, that's what they do for the girls that come after them. And
I'm just saying, this is Whitney and Mariah, girl. We could have got Whitney 1 hour and Mariah the next hour, man. That's what I'm saying. They could have got,
Uh,
they could have got 2 hours, girl. No shade. This is Whitney and Mariah, girl. No shade. But I feel you. I feel you. No shade.
but anyways, you guys, be sure to tune in next Saturday for another episode of the Influencer. Be sure to tune in to TTB because he always does a live and I'm over there most of the time.
And this will also be on the TTV network as well.
Oh,
This this particular episode. Yes.
oh,
oh,
okay.
well, while we're at it, then for the new audience that may not know me, my name is Reggie Artiste, singer, songwriter, rapper. I do a few things. So go ahead and, follow me at Reggie Artiste TV on YouTube and, get into some things. There's some old, there's some new. And we only got a few more episodes left of this, but, you can look forward to seeing me there and guest appearing on Scotty's panel as well. So, yeah, y'all go ahead and hit that follow button
I
and
can't wait.
Period.
subscribe button.
And
I
he's
can't wait.
also He's also a lamb, you guys. Okay, I know he was playing in our face earlier on, but he's still a lamb.
I'm
Okay,
definitely a lamb. I am. I sure am.
Oh
period.
my God. I'm sick of both of them. With that being said, we're out of here until the next one. We'll holler at y'all later. Peace out.